Okay, hey, so our power went out, but I have a laptop, so I keep looking out because there's like all these birds and stuff. But it's high time that I get to talking here and sharing my perspective because that's what needs to be done. And I don't know where to start. That's why I don't do this much. I don't know how to edit. I've tried. I've ruined videos. So, no, I'll just keep practicing. But I'll just do my best here. I'm Simone. I live here in Lake Atitlan, Guatemala. I've been in this apartment now February or no March of last year, so a little over a year and a half, or right at a year and a half. Um, Yeah, it's pretty exciting in the fact that, I live in a foreign country and I adhere to um, not a different code of ethics, but in a sense, because this is a different type of lifestyle. Although I do have a beautiful modern apartment, I can just kind of show you around there. That's the front door. I've got a fridge, a little cooking station. I've got these beautiful, huge windows. That window here is about, what is that? 4 by 8. It's a 4 by 8 window. And then right out here, I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 4 by 6 window. And then usually I have my door open, but there's a lot of activity. They're doing some stuff on the roof. But anyway, I have this is my apartment. There is the whole size of my apartment is about, I don't know, 14 by 14 plus a 4 by 12 bathroom in there with a beautiful shower, and we have a water heater and a what do you call that? Washer and dryer here. We got all the modern amenities per se for this area. We call this area the Beverly Hills of San Pedro. For what it's a nice area. It's nice and quiet, and not too much riffraff. And yeah, it's just a nice little corner of the world here, and I do love it. I'm so blessed every day. I wake up in full gratitude of what's going on for me right now. Mind you, the last couple of months it's been a little strenuous. I don't know what's going on. I have some intestinal issues, or maybe there were some parasites, and cleansing from those. I take apple cider vinegar every day, most days. I also now have made some raw garlic with local honey ferment, which is supposed to be really good. And um, anyway, I'm feeling much better, but I'm nowhere near my normal motivated, let's get up and do stuff attitude or whatever. And I found myself like stuck here in YouTube land. I don't watch like TV stuff, but I watch like documentaries and citizen journalists. That's kind of how I see what's going on in the world, because I really haven't watched the news since 2010 ish. Um, I've been in Latin America since 2015, December 2015. I've been 7 months in South America. The first time I went 5 months in Peru, a long weekend in La Paz, Bolivia. Had to go see the Mercado de Bruja, the witches market, which I was totally disappointed at first because it was all just very touristy stores and, tourist stuff, knickknacks, and, the same stuff stall after stall. Not exactly, but similar. And then I met a wonderful street artist, Fernando. Hi. Um, and he told me, no, you have to go through these back streets, and you know, you'll know them when you find them, and that turned out to be true. It's fascinating to be among these other cultures and see the different things. that they do, and being like a green witchy kind of person, like I like my herbs, my crystals, my earthy things. Um, I was intrigued walking into some of those little, this little, not bigger than my room here. They have llama fetuses hanging, and a whole wall. It is similar to a pharmacy in China with all the herbs and the animal parts and stuff. And when you're doing certain things, I've seen them. They open the drawers and they measure out and they make these little bags with these things. It was really cool. It was really cool. I'll go back and spend more time in Bolivia next time I go. There's some ancient megalithic sites that I did not get to, which are very intriguing. And if I don't get to them, which may be the case, it's getting harder for me to travel. There are people out there making excellent videos of these ancient sites, and the telling of history needs to be redone, because I'm not going to say that these other scientists and archaeologists and stuff didn't see or know all of this. These things have been here for a long time. The Nazca lines, for example, they still don't know what they are. There's speculation, but how can we know exactly? The other thing that's really cool about Central or South America, let me just try to focus on South America, because we went to Peru planning to spend maybe a month or two, but there's, because, you want to go to Machu Picchu, you want to go to Nazca, you want to go to, there's a canyon I'd love to have gone to, the Rainbow Canyon, outside of, I believe, Arequipa, but it's a hike, and I was traveling with Gary, and neither one of us were in that physical shape to be trekking through the highlands of Peru, but we went to Lake Titicaca. We went twice to the Sacred Valley. The first time we stayed there a few weeks, and first we were in Cusack, which was very cool. Sacsayhuaman is there, and just walking down the streets, you're walking by ancient megalithic structures, that have been used and reused and reused. But the interesting thing was, we have, our prescribed history, so to speak, with the Inca. But what was really lovely was learning all the stuff that we weren't taught in our history, whether at university level or just our government institutions there. But we were told that yes, the Incas built this little stuff, but these huge megaliths, these have been here for way longer than the Incas, and possibly going back to I think there was 4 or 5 grand civilizations before the Incas even. So that was intriguing as hell. And then to go into several museums and seeing like Egyptian artifacts, like wow. We were in I always forget the name of this beach town that we spent a good part of December of 2016 there. Trujillo, it's outside of Trujillo. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a very local place there. They do have some national surf stuff there because it's on the Pacific. But the curators of the hotel that we were staying at told us about these pyramids that were recently found, like within the last 10, 15 years. And they weren't far away. And of course, they made it so you can go visit them, but it's only partially excavated. And they're saying that these things are like, they don't fit the narrative, of the Incas and stuff. So that's another civilization, a grand civilization that was there, that was influenced, obviously, by whoever influenced the Egyptians and the Mayans and the Aztecs and those pyramid building civilizations. Because, there's... My biggest takeaway is we don't know jack shit about who we are, where we are, why we are, and where the hell did we come from, because there are local stories amongst the natives of different ways that we came into this world, and none of them match this whole Darwinian theory of evolution. Like, there's even I saw an archaeologist. Oh no, it might have been Carrie Cassidy. Yeah, if you don't know her, Project Camelot. There's a wealth of information from there. But anyway, she was talking to somebody that threw out the idea that maybe this form of human was created before the chimpanzee or the primates. So, like a different. Anyway, history's a lie. That's not a conspiracy. That's an outright known fact now to those that are pursuing um, the path of knowledge, true knowledge, true knowledge. You know, fuck. Anyway, so South America, just a whole, like, really confirmed a lot of things that I had inclinations about. But the Egyptians were there. There's different areas in Peru. People look, they all have this darker skin Indian look, but some of them look more even Chinese. Some look very Polynesian. And then a lot of them look like, like the Indians that we know in North America. So again, they have these, and all of their folklore or all of their ancient stories talk about people from the sky seeding. So that kind of lines up with what I heard from Carrie Cassidy all those years ago, that there was 12 primary alien species that seeded the planet. And that makes a hell of a lot more sense than we all came out of Africa and we changed colors and shapes and sizes depending on where we were in the world. Well, we did in a sense, but it had there was a whole nother influence. Here, not here per se, the indigenous have been very much influenced by the churches, which is fine. One of my biggest lessons in the last 10 years, which is, I'm going to say the last 10 years is my real initial, or not conscientious delve into, expanding my horizons beyond the limits of what we're given. And I was mad at first. I was really, really mad. I moved to Hawaii from Iowa when I got my diagnosis, and I knew I had a check coming every month. I had friends there willing to put me up for a while till I found a place to go. Blah blah blah. Worked out great. And then I met people who say, hey, check out this. David Icke was one of the main ones that I was introduced to. Thank you, Rachel. And wow, it took off from there. Of course, at that time, I was like into Abraham Hicks and different, like, really positive things, which was great because it helped me deal with the anger and the great disappointment, but most of the anger that I was feeling towards the system that had been lying and is lying and still is lying and will continue to lie because some people just eat it up. And that's, again, it's the programming. Mom always called me a rebel because I just never took things for what they were. It's like, you gotta, question authority. And even my parents, God bless them. But, even parents don't know. Shit, I learned a lot of things being a mom that, afterwards I was like, I was wrong about that, But it's interesting. It's interesting. And being retired and having some safety net allows me a lot of time to read. I have a great, very varied library here. It's actually pretty big for somebody that travels, but again, I've been still for a year and a half. I went last year. I went to Peru for 2 months. Earlier this year, I went to Mexico. It's good. I really have an itching to go. Now, it's just time to just for a trip, and I've been blessed with this to be able to do that. I pay about $215 a month for my apartment here, and that includes water, Wi-Fi. There's, if I want to cook downstairs, it's a huge kitchen. Like I said, it's as big as my room. But it's stairs, and oh, most of you don't know me. I have a spinal cord injury, and I use two canes to walk. So that just slows me down, and I don't feel bad for me or anything. I totally see this as a blessing because first of all, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my Social Security, and thank goodness I worked 30 years and paid into it so that I have a decent livable. At least here I live pretty good. In the United States I'd be homeless and living you know but because I don't do government housing. But that's a whole other thing. Just there's so much that I'm thankful for here. I have a great circle of friends here. I mean, to come into a foreign country and to meet all these absolutely awesome people is it's a blessing. My neighbors we're all three Canadians here. Of course, I've lived in the United States for uh, 40 years plus, but we're all Canadians here. We have Israeli and Guatemalan and Canadian and U.S. and yeah, right here in this corner. That's what we have. But there's Germans here. There's Russians here. There's English here. There's Australians here. I have a friend. She's back in Bulgaria now, but all these people from around the world is really cool. It's cool to hear the different languages too, which I know that could bother some people, but I'm totally cool with it. I might not understand it, but I like to hear them, so it's cool. So anyway, we live in this really crazy, crazy world right now. Like again, because I don't read the language very good. I do, but I don't, and I sure the hell ain't gonna read the news, and I don't watch the news. The one thing I could tell you about Central and South America, their news is much more graphic than what you would see in the United States. They show the dead bodies, they show the blood, they show the bullet holes. Um, I crack up when I see the fucking pansy ass politically correct. Oh, you insulted me. Oh my God, get the hell over yourself, you whining ass people, man. Cheese and fucking rice. That is like the scourge of everything right now. So, that my opinion, my humble opinion. And here's the other thing. I am a full on in your face, not no filter kind of gal. I don't know how to. Oh, excuse me. I rephrase that. I choose not to filter myself. I choose not to police my language, my feelings, because when I did that, I was almost 300 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Now, in the last 10 years, well, it manifested long before, but enough so that, the doctors thought I'd need a wheelchair. That didn't work out well for me. But, walker to the four prong to the cane. And in 2015, I went to two canes. It's a neurological disorder, blah, 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 spinal cord injury. But again, it manifested in full on glory here 12 years ago or whatever. And anyway, there are no accidents, there are no coincidences. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be able to have an amount of freedom. I'm not making a whole bunch of money, just what I paid in for 30 years, and I never made like a six-figure salary or anything like that. So, but anyway, it's a percentage. I'm fine. I can do well here, help my daughter occasionally, and have a really nice place, and but what it's allowed me to do, the blessing here, is that I've been able to spend a lot of time listening to some, not, people out there on the edge of wonder, so to speak. That's a great website, by the way, or a great YouTube channel. There's just so much that we need to learn about who we are, what we're doing here, and where we came from and where are we going. Space Force is coming online, which is really cool. If you ever wondered why the U.S. government pays $15,000 for a hammer, well, they don't. Okay, that money gets funneled into these black projects, and there's been a space program for a long, long time. I guess what I'm getting at, one of the biggest things here that people here are pretty comfortable with, or more so in South America, but fuck, man, there's aliens. And aliens, that's a shitty term anymore, because turns out that there are people among us. Maybe they're not people exactly as we know them, but they live underground. I'm blatantly aware that the space that we think is empty is entirely consumed with other activities, other beings, other universes, that we just can't perceive with our five senses. We only perceive it, I think it's 0.004 or 0.005% of the known light spectrum. Now leave this space wide open for a whole lots of goings on that until you believe. It's not a belief, because it's been, I've understood this for quite some time, but I can see how people think that's bonkers. I totally see that, because but once you start having experiences, once you learn to alter your consciousness, meditation, chanting is great, especially when you're beginning to do this kind of work, as it kind of keeps you focused. Last year I was in Peru in the Amazon, and I spent 2 weeks with a Shipibo shaman doing ayahuasca and other different. I did Cambo and I did San Pedro. So these are world-changing, life-changing experiences if all goes well. I don't have drug problems. I don't have mental health problems. I don't have, I don't adhere to the labeling of, post-traumatic stress, ADHD. I don't adhere to those. Those are all man-made titles for human conditions. And they attach these names or these letters to these human conditions so they can give you a pill and control you even more. And that's, again, a huge aspect of what's happening in the world for many generations, but especially, four or five generations, I'm going to say, since maybe six. So from the 1800s, early 1800s until now, I honestly believe that in the late 1700s, early 1800s, there was a worldwide cataclysm that was used as a total history reset. Many refer to this as the mud flood, because the evidence of massive, liquefaction of land masses seeping into cities and covering buildings, and there's just a lot of evidence that there's something going on. That evidence also is leading or pointing towards free energy. I'm going to use this quote, free energy, that they were harvesting electricity these old castles and manors, huge, with these supposed fireplaces. There's a lot more evidence indicating that those were actually like a harness or I don't know the terms for it, but anyway, like they harness electricity because it's all over. They harness electricity right out of the atmosphere, and all the spires or on churches and stuff. That's anyway. You can look into it. There's a lot of people static in the attic. Oh, I can't think of them off my head. I do have a list somewhere, but that wasn't my intention this time. Just kind of want to introduce myself and talk about the different viewpoints that I have and what I Mark Passio is a big influencer for me, and he is doing the great work. He's just out there sharing his perspective from previously being a priest, level priest in the Church of Satan. And he came out of that because he's like, oh no, this is not what I signed up for. And he's been sharing for, I've been aware of him for like 5 or 6 years. So he's a lot more pissed right now because we're not doing anything. So sometimes I feel like he's speaking directly to me. Mark Passio does one of the best presentations on natural law, the 7 Hermetic Principles, another huge, misinformation thing that we're not, these are the principles we should be taught in school, the Hermetic Principles, basically. This is how the world, or the universe, these are universal principles, apparently. So, again, I'm also studying Hermetics, Kabbalah, the Tensiphero, the path of the serpent through the worlds, as above, so below. Our physicality is a manifestation of our higher perspective, so to speak. We've got 4 bodies just right here that we're dealing with continually: our physical, our emotional, our mental, and our spiritual. These are just right here, and within that there's our levels. And until you start to perceive all these other aspects of yourself, it's this world just looks like it's hopeless. But I definitely have a lot of positive outlook, and I see just great things. I see great people doing great things to help expand the consciousness. We're all connected. There is no separation. This space is just it's full of us. It's full of we are the plants, everything, the houses, the animals here, the bugs. I mean, we got a lot of bugs, and I've got some huge spiders, but I don't see any of them out to show you. I don't kill them. I do use essential oils and some apple cider vinegar to, deter them from hanging out in my, my little private, my perimeter, so to speak. They don't bother me. I haven't seen a scorpion for probably 2 months, and I know they're here, but they're happy. I think they're right behind me in there because I usually see them coming out here and then up here and over here in this corner. They take advantage of what the spiders catch. So anyway, it's going on 30 minutes. See about uploading this, and like I said, I just want to share my experiences, and I'm nobody special, but I got shit to say, and I love people, and hopefully some of the things I say can help people. That's what I want to do. I want to help people find themselves, find their place in this madhouse. It's a wonderful world. It really is. Peace, love, and harmony.